I sat through Rob Taylor, Loucifer Taylors Husband's sermon from his church, so you guys don't have to. And now I'm going to be telling you guys all of my thoughts because, guys, this rabbit hole just gets deeper. Hello and welcome to Queendom TV. So, guys, for those of you who don't know who Rob Taylor is the name of the husband of Lou M. Taylor, who is known mostly on this channel. I've mainly talked about her being the business manager for Britney Spears and playing a massive role in a lot of the exploitation and abuse that took place for Britney Spears. And she's definitely one of probably the number 2 person that a lot of us are hoping to see real justice with for this now freed Britney movement. Now, she is married to a man called Rob Taylor, and it just so happens that this Rob Taylor is a pastor or a preacher, whichever way you want to call it. And when I heard this, I was like, and again, thank you to one of you guys in my comment section who let me know that her husband was a pastor. When I saw that, I was like, how is this possible? Anyway, so I took it upon myself. I said, well, I need to find out. I need to see what this guy's doing because we're talking a lot about Lou and I want to see what Rob is doing. Let's see if it makes sense. Are they a team behind the scenes? Because from the research I saw, it seems that he also has a high level in Tri-Sports Entertainment. I think it came up that he's also like a CEO or CFO or something like that. Which again, sorry that not all my facts and figures are exactly to the point. All of this is alleged anyway. But I'm still looking into this rabbit hole. And like I said, the more I've been looking into it, the more I'm realizing it's just such a big thing that it's going to take a while. And there's going to be a lot of videos about this because if I was to try and take everything together and put it in one video, it'd probably be very, very long video. That's how much there seems to be going on here. So either way, I decided that I was going to go and check out Rob and his church and everything and see what he's doing because if he's a pastor, he must have, messages online. I watch people's messages on YouTube, from churches and stuff. And so that's where I went. So interestingly enough, I found the messages from his church. Although I couldn't find any recent ones, I wanted to find like the most recent one because I wanted to see what is he saying to his congregation and how is he trying to represent the kingdom of God, right? Whilst Lou is doing the craziness she's doing and business managing Travis Scott, who's sacrificing people and opening portals to hell, it seems, at a festival, Couldn't find any, but I managed to find some messages from about 10 months ago, which I started to watch. So I watched one of them and it was talking about honoring your mother and father. And if any of you guys want to go and check it out, you can just search Rob Taylor. I believe the church is called Chapel Church. And eventually you'll find they call him Bro Rob Taylor. And you can find this. This was like the 5th video of a series he was doing going through the 10 Commandments. And it's really funny that I stumbled upon this specific video about honor your mother and father, which is one of the 10 Commandments. And the funny thing for me about this was, obviously I was watching it with 2 mind frames, as in on the one side, I'm used to watching messages online by different people, biblical messages. And so, for me, I personally know when I feel like something sounds like, okay, this sounds like things that came from the actual Bible, this sounds good, etc. And then sometimes it's just interesting to see, it's just interesting in general, I guess, was what I'm saying. Either way, in this video, he was breaking down how, if people honored their mothers and fathers, that then the world would be better and it would be good for the children and it would be good for the parents and how the children kind of need to look after the parents. Now, I will say this, guys, please check it out yourself to make your own judgment, because this is my opinion and this is my interpretation. You may feel completely differently watching it. And I will say this, a lot of the points he made in that video, I do think were good points, as in general life, that I think is good. The Bible does say to honor your mother and father. I do think you should honor them, however you, although I don't think that should be used in a way that's counterproductive or toxic either. But I think there's a healthy level of honoring somebody, or whatever. But I will say there were some good points he made, but there were some few interesting things he said. There was one section in the video where he started to talk about how it's wrong for parents to abuse their children in public and to treat them badly and to do all this stuff. And so I thought to myself, imagine being him, preparing for this sermon, right? Writing these notes perhaps about how, it's not good to abuse children or to treat them badly in front of other people, etc., etc., etc. Meanwhile, you're sitting next to your wife in bed, who is purposely and categorically doing those exact things, or at least helping solicit or encourage those exact things for Britney Spears and her family. Like, it just didn't add up. it's like you, and this is not me being judgmental, by the way. It's not me being judgmental, although I do believe in life we have the right to make a judgment about things. Not to be judgmental, but to make a judgment, i.e., does this make sense or doesn't it? Is this something I agree with or is it something I don't agree with? Is this something I think is good or is this something I don't think is good? Because you know why, guys? Our actions have consequences. So we do have to make judgments in life, not be judgmental. And a lot of judgmentalness is not really real judging, because judging should be a fair deal. Because we live in a broken world and a very ungodly world in a lot of senses, I think that our understanding of judgment is very different from what it is, what it really should be. You know, so it's just very interesting to see that this is what he's talking about. It's interesting how he talked about honoring your mother and father. I started to wonder, is this some of the language maybe they tried to use to indoctrinate Britney or him and his wife believe in? And honestly, I just don't get where the connection between him and what's her name, Lou, how that really works, you know, based on all the work that she does, all the industries that she's in, all the craziness she's a part of. How does she then go and just stand, and he then goes and stands in front of a church and just acts like they're not doing all this crazy stuff? And another very, very interesting thing that happened in the video that I actually watched towards the beginning was they wanted to send some money. It was, you know, the normal thing that you might see in church. They want to support a group somewhere. They want to support people out there in the world. And they say to the congregation, if any of you choose to like give, we want to raise some money. All they wanted to raise was $5,000. And I said to myself, if all you want to raise is $5,000, 5,000, are you telling me that Lou or the husband or whatever couldn't have just put that money forward, you know, for whatever this thing is? And so again, this is just very concerning, because if these people are such people of God, like for me as a person of God, if I have a lot of money, then that money is for all the people in the world that I know the Lord cares about. And a lot of the time people talk about how, you know, oh, but there's so much suffering in the world and God didn't do this and God didn't do that. But a lot of the time people who are claiming to be God's people are not really putting money towards that. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's rude for me to say this, but I very, very strongly believe that Lou and her husband could afford to pay for that $5,000. So why have you got all these poor, lovely people? And I think the people in the video, I mean, at the start of the video that I watched, they did praise and worship. You know, they sing in church. For those of you who don't know what that is, they sang in church and it was nice. And I felt for those people, because I felt like maybe those people are genuine. Maybe those people don't know. And I was concerned that what if these people, if they were to find out what's going on, which they may not know about. And this is why people, those of us, if you're any other Christian people, this is why we need to start actually talk about this stuff, because a lot of people are not going to know the truth, and a lot of people are not going to know what's really going on if none of us are actually in these kinds of industries. This is one of the reasons why I've worked in the entertainment industry. So anyway, just the fact that they were raising that money for me was a red flag, and that was before Rob even came onto the show. There was another guy who was kind of like host or whatever, I'm not sure, who was talking about this thing where they're raising money for. And so again, if I was in the congregation, I'm just wondering, well, how does it look when you've got, you know, Rob Taylor? Does Lou show up to church? I'm not sure yet. These are questions, by the way. A lot of these questions I plan on answering. So please stick around and please check out the videos. Please check out the videos in my Loucifer Taylor playlist, because I'm going to be posting a lot of stuff, because I feel like these questions need to be answered, you know, on either side. Why is it that Britney has gone through everything she's gone through the past 13 years? Thank God for Matthew Rosengart, who's doing his, I believe, his very best right now to bring real justice for her. He's already finally given her her big long-term wish of getting out of the conservatorship. But also, how are people really getting away with these things? And I think a lot of people get away with things because people aren't looking into it. So if you're interested to hear more, if you are already feeling triggered by a few of the things that I mentioned in this video, and especially I'm sure some of you who are also believers in God like me are feeling especially triggered right now, then stay tuned for this channel. Check out my playlist, because guess what, guys? I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going further down that rabbit hole, and we're going to expose a lot of these things, because I think there are a lot of people out there who could do with the kind of support even that Britney Spears had. And I think Lou Taylor seems to be a big player and very much at the center of a lot of this, and I'm going to be talking about it. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you have watched it all the way to the end, I appreciate that so much. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you want to hear about this and other topics I talk about on my channel, and obviously like the video if you did like the video. Like I said, let me know in the comments what you guys think about this and other things. If you know about Rob, if you know more, it would be awesome if somebody had actually been to this church or know of this church. That would be very cool. And I will say this, I did make an announcement in my previous video, one of my previous videos, that I'm moving to the United States. So once I get there, guys, don't think that I'm not going to take the opportunity to go and visit the church for myself if I can. And I will do that. I will actually do that. So anyway, thank you so much for watching my video. God bless you all, and I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.